All right, everyone, we have a special interview today with Myles Anderson. He's the BrightLocal founder and CEO. BrightLocal was founded in 2009. It's entirely self-funded. They have over 10,000 businesses that rely on them for their reporting technologies. Currently over 45 employees, and they're one of the most trusted analytics and reporting companies in the local online marketing industry. So, Myles, thanks for coming on and being willing to talk to us over here at Marketing Digest on an interview to share with the entire community. How are you doing today?
And good to connect with you again, and also good to connect with your audience, who hopefully we've got some of our customers who will listen to this, and maybe we can reach out and introduce ourselves to a few new people as well.
Wonderful. So, Myles, I've got a list of questions I'm dying to ask you here. What made you want to start BrightLocal? Because it's not just the average guy that thinks, hey, you know what, I love to manage a tremendous amount of data and try to figure out how to store it and present it to everyone in a friendly format. What sparked your interest to take on that mountain?
Well, to be very honest, probably didn't realize how big the mountain was going to be when we started off, and probably had I known quite how many hurdles and obstacles you'd have to get by, I probably would have been quite so bold to do it. So essentially I kind of sort of stumbled into it. I had a background in working in the UK for some large media companies, doing sort of business development, and got into the online, sort of the local space by working on a kind of local directory project for the largest commercial radio group here in the UK, and that's where I met my business partner and our kind of CTO, Ed Elliott, and we collaborated on that project, realized that we got on very well, him from a kind of development side, me from a kind of product and business side, and about 2 years down the line, both of us sort of found ourselves at a bit of a sort of, a kind of bridging point in our kind of careers, and wondering what we wanted to do. Sat down, got talking about what projects interested us, where we wanted to go. At the same time, I had a number of friends who were sort of starting kind of local businesses, be it kind of pubs, or sort of one had a tile shop, and they were clueless about online marketing. They really didn't have a clue. They knew they needed to do it, but they didn't understand what they had to do, and they were finding it very hard to get the relevant data. So we kind of started assisting with them and essentially established an agency providing kind of local marketing sort of services, but very quickly realized that there was some, there was a kind of ceiling above us in terms of our ability to grow with that kind of business model, and also we're very frustrated that everything was so manual. There were very few dedicated tools for local. So Ed and I realized that with our skill sets of kind of business development, product and development, as in web development, we should really go out and build some tools. And so we set about building these tools to help us in our kind of daily jobs. The need came from within us. Quickly realized that we loved doing what we were doing, and that every time we showed these tools to other kind of agencies or consultants, they liked them as well and said, hey, can we use those? So we kind of pivoted our business around that point to be, from an agency perspective, to being a kind of software, data, tools and analytics company. So I wouldn't say that I woke up one day and the light bulb lit in my head and said, that's what I'm going to go and do. I'm going to build BrightLocal, but we kind of listened to our hearts and listened to our heads and sort of followed the advice we got from others, and that's why we're where we are today.
Well, I think some of the most successful companies are born out of a need that a lot of people have, and commenting on that, you're able to identify a need that businesses have for reporting data and analytics that they didn't otherwise have, maybe in data in general or in a different format. What is the most important reason a client should be using BrightLocal reporting technologies, and what's the main need that you fulfill?
Well, I think there is a typical customer of ours is a consultant or an agency. So rather than a kind of local business owner, so the majority of our customers come to us with some understanding of what it is they need. So they understand the local kind of online marketing plates. They understand what the kind of data and what it means to have citations and sort of things like that. So they're not sort of totally green. And they have kind of two needs, because they obviously, as a consultant agency, they have their own clients, and they've got to work on behalf of their clients. So their needs kind of fall into two camps. One is auditing and tracking, using that data to inform the decisions that they make about how best to improve the optimization for one of their clients. So I'd probably say about half our customers use us primarily just for kind of internal analytics and understanding. So understanding where a client is, what they need to do next, and then for kind of tracking that. The other half is actually justifying the work they're doing on behalf of their customers. So, small business owners are sort of fairly sort of thrifty in terms of the money they put into online marketing, and as with any sort of business, they want to understand the returns they're getting. And our kind of agency and client and consultant customers need to justify the work they've done and the fees they're charging, and they do that providing really accurate and detailed reports in a kind of nice branded sort of PDFs or nice branded and online reports they can present to their customers and say, this is what you're paying us for, this are the improvements we're delivering, put your trust in us, and we'll keep kind of driving up that performance. So partly it's about giving them the data they need to do their jobs, and partly it's about helping them justify their work they do to their clients so they can justify the fees and retain those clients month after month.
Right, and I think you would agree by saying, the data that you primarily specialize in is ranking data, where websites are ranking on Google and Yahoo and Bing, correct?
I will say that is what we're very well known for. I wouldn't say it's necessarily the thing that we spend most of our time sort of on kind of doing. I mean, the reason that we sort of focus on that is that that's the first tool that we launched. It was the one that we saw the most immediate demand for in the marketplace, and one that's become our flagship, and that we people come to us primarily for that, and then finally we have a lot of other really useful tools and kind of data points that we kind of gather against. In terms of where we probably focus our effort and our attention, we probably spend more time looking at things such as kind of citations, listing, and reviews than actually on rankings, because we think that is probably where the future is going to be in terms of kind of local reporting and the necessity for local data, as ranking data becomes harder and harder to kind of track accurately. So yes, we're very well known for it, but it's probably not where actually we spend most of our time and effort.
Now, I think what a lot of agencies probably do not understand is the depth to the ranking data that you do provide. In my opinion, you guys are the #1 ranking data provider in the world, but I don't think people understand that you provide ranking data on third-party sites as well. Like if you're mentioned on a press release or on a blog or on a local directory, that you track those rankings and you take screenshots of it and you carry that history through. I think most people don't know that. What made you guys turn in the direction to saying, you know what, we don't not only have to track just their website, but also you guys are starting to track literally almost every single portion of a client's online real estate, which is completely groundbreaking.
Yeah, so you can track both via mentions of your kind of URL, or you can track multiple URLs, or you can track via a mention of your business name or kind of keywords that are related to you. So in doing that, we're able to track rankings within the main search engines, but not just for your website, but also for any of those kind of key online listings you have, your kind of video channel on YouTube, your sort of Facebook profile, etc. And therefore you get a much more kind of holistic sense of your visibility online, because there are so many touch points for a business on the internet these days. It's not just about a website, it's about all these other important profiles that you've got on the likes of Facebook, Twitter, even Foursquare, going down to the kind of classic local directories, or kind of review sites like TripAdvisor, Yelp, City Search, etc. Those are all places where customers can find you, find out about your business, and ultimately contact you. So it's important to know, what's your entire footprint in terms of the kind of visibility you're having. It's no longer just purely about your website. So and particularly with the kind of local businesses that can really utilize these other channels that say, a business like ours really can't. We're not genuinely a local business, so sort of finding us on Yelp, although we have a profile, I don't think we've ever brought a customer through to us from Yelp, because people don't go to Yelp and search for kind of data analytics company in London. If they're going to do that, they're going to go to a specialist site, or they're just going to sort of purely Google it. So that's where the kind of diversity of the opportunities for local marketing are so great for local businesses online. They're much more significant and greater than just a pure sort of web-based business, because you've got all these other channels which customers can find you. And if you kind of aggregated all the visitor numbers that go through the likes of Yelp and City Search and all these other channels, it probably starts to actually kind of count up to almost balancing out Google. So you've got Google as one source of traffic, but then you've got all these kind of secondary and tertiary traffic opportunities, which if you really make the most of, and you optimize them well, you keep your data kind of clean and complete, they can really start to add up as significant extra customer sources.
I would assume one of the reasons why you're, to my knowledge, the only company presenting that sort of data in the format that you do is probably difficult. What difficulties do you have with handling and storing that massive amount of data?
We have a lot. In actual fact, we've just in the process of rolling out a change to sort of part of our database to enable our interfaces to kind of work faster and without sort of less sort of delays, because some of our databases and database tables are so enormous. We've got a couple of database tables that have upwards of 300 million rows in them, and once you start getting to that much data, you've got to get very kind of shrewd and clever about the way that you kind of store it, the way that you kind of query it, and the way that you sort of pull it back. So we spend a lot of time and effort looking at ways that we can make it future-proof ourselves for that kind of growth and volume and scale that we're getting to now. It's pretty unglamorous work, because it's very hard to kind of showcase a small kind of back-end change that you've made to a customer, whereas it means that it keeps our sort of service on the rails for longer and doing a kind of better job. But it's very hard to kind of point to them and show them the kind of direct benefit of that. Which I always find quite frustrating with my marketing head on. I'm always keen to kind of market, the new sort of services and data we provide, and that's one thing that is very hard to do. But it is absolutely essential, and we probably allocate about 30% of our time and resources into those types of projects.
Yeah, that's massive. I don't think most people would ever realize how difficult it is to handle that amount of data. We're talking about gigs worth of data that are just words, not images, not videos, just words that add up to gigs. So not to put you on the spot here, but you offer several different types of reporting to people. If you had to choose just one of them, which do you think is the most important reporting to say for an agency to be offering to say the typical local business provider? Maybe it's a chiropractor or an optometrist or a plumber. Which report would that be that you offer, and why?
I mean, the most used report is definitely our ranking report. I think what's interesting about when you report into local businesses or local business owners is there are some bits of online local marketing can be a bit of a minefield. There's so much jargon and kind of confusion around kind of what's important and what sort of terminology means. Once you start kind of getting into the kind of nitty-gritty of kind of on-site SEO and even down to kind of content marketing, people can kind of slightly kind of glaze over, particularly if they're busy and they've got 1,001 other things they need to do. So there's certain reporting sort of metrics that local business owners can really grasp that are kind of more tangible to them. One is rankings, because they're users of Google. When they need to find something, they go to Google, they click on a link on page 1, and they go and buy it, or they go and source it. So they understand, they can put themselves in the shoes of their own customers. So when they see themselves ranking highly, they can understand how that's going to translate through to business for them. Even if it's not a particularly great metric, and it's certainly not a metric that immediately equates to kind of sales and revenue, but they can understand it because they can put themselves in their customer's shoes. Similarly, you've got things like your online listings. Is your address reported accurately? Is it got all the relevant information? A business owner who has a sort of physical business understands it's important to have their address correctly listed. I mean, it's such a basic requirement for kind of bringing customers to your business, is make sure they have the right address. So when they see things like incorrect address information, in our kind of citation reports, that immediately irks them, because they understand why that's a bad thing, because they could be driving their customers into the hands of their kind of competitors. So I think it's about finding things that are tangible to the kind of busy local business owner, and they understand. I mean, reputation is another one. Having a good reputation is as old as time, and having a bad online review, which could be seen by thousands of people, thousands of potential customers, is again very kind of irking and frustrating for local business owners, because they can see that those kind of dollars drifting away from them sort of because of that. So I think probably rankings and our kind of citation reports are the two that are most heavily used. We have one tool which I think is grossly underused by our kind of customer base, and that's our kind of Google local wizard tool. And I think that tool is great because actually it has the highest volume of data and the most kind of aggregation of work that goes into kind of putting those reports together. But it's a great benchmarking tool. It allows you to see your optimization for your kind of Google Plus Local or your kind of Google Places page, all your sort of citations, but it benchmarks you against the top 10 performing businesses in your city and category. So it could be chiropractor in Miami. You can see how you stack up against the top 10 in a very easy side-by-side view. And our kind of agencies who really use us to the full use that as a great way of understanding an initial audit situation for a business. How they're doing, how they stack up their competitors, which areas should we focus on, and then using kind of ongoing reporting through that to kind of track progress. So for me, I think there's simplicity of reporting in our ranking tool, a citation tool, gives a lot of end clients what they need. But I actually think our Google Plus Local Wizard tool is the most powerful because it has all that data kind of drawn into it and nicely presented.
Very nice. Yeah, benchmarking rankings and where you're at and Google Plus is definitely vital. Having the capability to show where your clients benchmark that versus 9 other competitors that's not easy to do. I was curious.
Yeah, a lot of our customers use us for our reports are kind of lead generation as well. They'll run a report and they'll use that as a talking document when they go in and sort of talk to a business. And again, it's kind of touching on or understanding what's going to kind of concern or sort of frustrate a local business owner. And often it's about seeing where their basic information is wrong, but also seeing where their competitors are getting it right, and understanding that if they make some small changes here and there, they can start to kind of steal their potential clients away from their competitors.
Absolutely. And can you give the listeners any idea of any special projects that you may be currently working on, or any unreleased products or reports that may be there in the near future that you might want to give us a couple hints to?
Yeah, so we're adding in into our citation tracker reports in America initially, but then to all other countries, the ability to track your name, address, phone number information across the top 50 sites. So we actually released that this afternoon into kind of beta test with about a dozen customers. So that's something we'll be rolling out, and that'll be a really powerful new addition to that particular tool. We're also looking to kind of strengthen and deepen the data we can get in that area. We're also working on a new kind of holistic dashboard. So at the moment, you have ranking data in a ranking report, you have citation data in a citation report. We're creating a nice holistic dashboard that draws all that information into sort of one central dashboard, so you can see the full 360 view of your kind of online sort of marketing situation. So those are the kind of 2 big projects that we're working on now and over the next few months. And then we've just been planning our kind of product roadmap for 2015, which looks very exciting. And there's a whole wealth of different kind of projects on there, which will massively increase our kind of data gathering capabilities, but also hopefully improve the kind of presentation of that data and make all that data kind of more useful and more tangible to our customers. So I'm really excited about what's coming up next year. This year has probably been a year of consolidation for us, and next year is a year of growth and advancement, which is great because as a product guy, that's what I like to see. And in doing that, we're looking to invest more in our team. We're taking our development team from 6 up to 10, so we're almost going to be kind of doubling our kind of capacity and throughput through doing that. So next year is going to be a great year. It's definitely going to be a stepping stone year for BrightLocal to go from sort of service we have been providing to a service that is, hopefully, might be exponentially better than what we've got today.
Well, I think if all the listeners, and many of them that might already be using your reporting technologies, if they're aware of all the different types of reporting formats and services that you offer through that, if they can imagine that being pulled together in one 360 view dashboard, that's going to be an amazing release for you guys, and definitely something for everyone to be looking out for.
I think so too.
So, Myles, last question that I have for you here. What is the favorite part about your job?
So my job has changed a lot. We've grown. We're entirely self-funded. Reinvesting the profits that we make to sort of grow the business. So, if you asked me that 2 years ago, my job had 10 or 12 different parts to it, which involved everything from ordering the tea, getting the milk, right up to the sales and marketing and sort of everything else. We've gradually been able to kind of bring in specialists to certain areas such as kind of marketing, customer service, project management. So I've been lucky enough to I guess, move away parts of my job that I think are kind of less critical to the service that we provide. The two areas that I enjoy the most, or the three areas I enjoy the most, are the product side of it, so defining what our customers need, talking with our customers, and then implementing the kind of developments and changes sort of in the service. The marketing I really enjoy as well, to keep some of the kind of webinars and the interviews that we get to do. I get to meet and talk with some wonderfully intelligent, smart people, and I always end up learning a lot. So I really enjoy that, and I have a lot invested in the BrightLocal brand. So I like to see, kind of BrightLocal grow. We actually don't do any paid marketing. We do a very small amount of PPC. So all the marketing we do is really around kind of content marketing, PR, brand sort of generation type work. So a lot of it, has to come very much from within the business, and in terms of doing things that we know are kind of noteworthy and unique. So I really enjoy that. And thirdly, I obviously love the kind of customer service side. Unfortunately, as we get more and more customers, I find myself more and more being the bottleneck in terms of customer support. So that's why we've now got a dedicated customer support, head of customer support, as well as our kind of frontline support agents, because I simply can't be available to sort of speak to everyone. I still pick up at least half a dozen kind of support tickets a day and make sure I'm involved in any kind of significant issues. But just to ensure that we keep supporting our larger customer base to the levels that they expect it, we've had to kind of bring in a couple of people between me and the customer to enable that to get done. But I do enjoy kind of talking to our customers a lot, because it keeps it real for me what we do. It keeps me understanding who the end user is and why we do what we do. So I would say product marketing and customer service are the three areas that moving forward I will sort of focus more on, and I think that'll be great for me personally, but also great for the business.
Yeah, I would say your favorite interests in being a CEO are definitely in the best interest of those who are using your technologies. Well, Myles, hey, I appreciate you being on for the interview, and everyone that's listening, if you haven't checked out BrightLocal at brightlocal.com, certainly go to their site, check them out, whether or not you're a marketing agency looking for, enterprise-level reporting for your online marketing clients, or if you're a local business owner looking for some of the top local online marketing reporting technologies. BrightLocal has them. Myles, appreciate you having on, and hopefully we can have you on again before too long.